Today I'm sharing a video tutorial on generating multiple images. This is currently the best setting. You can understand it as very stable. Let's take a look at the results first. Its transition effects are excellent. First, let me introduce the things I'm using. The first one uses the latest version 1.1. Even better with LoRA transitions. Its transition effect will be more perfect. This also this VBVR 2.0 version. It can understand complex motion. Another thing is that this has been added. It can enhance the prompt words. It will strictly follow the prompts, including time control. Of course, we mainly use this for time control here because of the time period when you inserted the image. Therefore, this is used to control time. Ideally, time control should also be added to the prompt. However, this timing control must be aligned with your graph. The timing control for cutting in is the same. For example, 97 frames correspond to 4 seconds. Therefore, this needs to be matched. Otherwise, if the text doesn't match the picture, it will look strange. I will explain later how to connect multiple images. Here I mainly connect two images. Let it automatically deduce the prompt word from the image. Then merge the reverse engineered prompt into automatic expansion. Finally, a trigger word will be automatically added below this. I will go into more detail later. Let me first introduce the IntBrain Cloud Online Mirror I'm using. If you don't want to deploy locally, you can start using it immediately. Just click on my mirror. What you see now is the online mirror I'm using. I put this workflow in the outer month LTX RDS. Click to see the full site. I've placed this workflow below the first row on the left. Because this is a complete set, you need to pay attention to its location. The fourth one in the first row. It was grouped together with a previous dedicated workflow session. Because I have a lot of files, it loads slowly. However, you will generally only use a single workflow. The operation will not lag. I have corresponding notes and video tutorials for each workflow here. Furthermore, the layout order of each workflow is standardized. Its order is a very strict and unified standard. Once you learn how to use one, you'll be able to use the others. Moreover, it doesn't just mean that all the layout and alignment within this workflow are standardized. All workflows and all online mirrors are like this. This makes it easier for everyone to understand. If I don't have ordered layout alignment, you'll feel it's like a Rubik's Cube, a jumbled mess. That would be very troublesome to use, but I arrange it in the correct layout order. Once they're all aligned, you can tell them apart very clearly. The principle is roughly that every side is the same. Furthermore, each of my workflows has a corresponding note and video tutorial. So you can watch the video tutorial to decide which one to use first. Those who don't want to deploy locally can click on my notes. Clicking on the ComfyUI tutorial in the navigation will take you to the workflow section. At the bottom, there are 3 types of workflows. Similar to mirroring, I've placed this workflow within the image class. The name is the same as the workflow name. Click on it and you'll find the installation tutorial. It contains the models used, as well as the models and nodes that need to be downloaded. Each model comes with a download link and screenshots. This way you can clearly see which model you need to download. Then the placement locations are clearly marked here. Simply download the model and place it in the corresponding location. There are also no installation and no download options. Below there are screenshots of all the workflows. It contains simple operation diagrams. Actually, all you need to do is adjust the color settings. Moreover, the parameters for each workflow are clearly visible. This way, sometimes it's not necessary to open the workflow. You can see what features you need by looking at the pictures. Below are the video tutorials for each workflow. Finally, there's workflow download. This node is suitable for those using local deployments. My layout is completely consistent throughout, and each workflow is divided into 2 parts. The above is a default workflow, which is actually quite easy to understand. The official workflow involves breaking down the model parameters into these. Combine them into one and then output the image. It's just about editing better. That's roughly the principle. Below are some user-uploaded images for editing. Simply link to the official workflow. Therefore, understanding the concept of standardized and orderly formatting is actually quite simple. They are all the same. Returning to this one, this is mainly using the RAN editing model. Its advantage is that it can be designed by randomly combining reference images. It doesn't design in a rigid, one-to-one manner. This is the advantage of this workflow. Of course, its drawback is that it cannot be directly transplanted one-to-one. If you want a one-to-one transplant, then use Cayenne 12511. This workflow plus LoRA. You can make local modifications, and it can be transplanted very accurately, one-to-one. Therefore, the main advantage of this workflow is its use in product design. Designs that don't need to be highly precise but require mixed references. This workflow is very practical. It can provide many random design references. Furthermore, based on your reference image and the hybrid design. That's all for this episode. Go have fun. How do we get 3 images? This is a reverse engineering prompt. If you need to use 3 images, you need to make a copy of this. Copy. Paste again. Because you have one more picture, the multi-image control here needs to be improved to 3 images. Then enter this link. After compressing this, that is, setting a size. The image size should be based on the first image. Drag it over. Make it the same as the first one. Then this is the longest side of the compressed section. Compress the image size by changing the longest side. Connect it to the third chip. If you regenerate and add another frame, all these frame counts will be reset to 0. For example, the first image is frame 0 and for seconds would be 97 frames. If the third frame is 7 seconds long, then it's 168 frames. Calculated this way. The image has been added. For example, if you want to add an image, you need to insert it and replace it. However, the backtrack suggestion now only requires the inputs, which is not enough. So how do we connect this to the card? Copy this multiple times. Insert this third one. For example, the 2 images that were already connected before this one. Then add the two that follows. Change to the third color to continue. Just connect it from this side to this two. This is equivalent to taking the first two pictures. It has been connected here and become one sheet. Then this one was appended after the two and became the third one. This output will have 3 images in a row. Then, the 3 images are used to deduce the prompt words, which then fed back to the model to deduce the prompt words. If you don't use this prompt to work backwards, you don't need to do this step, because this step turns the images into 3 images. This one is needed because it's submitted to the model to infer the prompt words. Enter the third picture. Then the text section also because these are 3 different pieces of content. If you want to combine this reverse push, if you have to save it disable, you don't need to set it up. This is a control of 3 images. You also added a bit more time here. 7, then your sentence will also announce that this part needs to be changed. The time for the next image is 10 seconds in total. So your range is 7 to 10. Then fill in what you wanted to say or do. This involves adding an extra image. Of course, you can add more, but it doesn't really make much sense because it will only last 10 to 30 seconds at most. If you add more, you'll need to copy another reverse engineering prompt. If you don't need it, you can disable it directly. No need for automatic reverse engineering and then handwriting. Write the prompts you want to write directly on this page. If you want to write the prompt words by hand, the step of reverse image linking is unnecessary. You can just write the prompts by hand. Go have fun by yourselves.